Have you ever walked into a room and felt like someone was watching you, only to turn around and find her eyes already locked on you? Or maybe you've had a conversation that seemed casual, but afterward you couldn't stop wondering if she was trying to tell you something without words. This is a truth most men never get to hear. Women communicate volumes without uttering a single word. Their bodies, their eyes, their subtle movements all form a secret language that only a few ever learn to read. Why is that? Because society teaches men to chase after words, not meaning. And in doing so, we miss the signals that truly matter. A gentle touch on the arm, a slight tilt of the head, a glance held just a second longer than expected. These aren't random gestures, they are clues, whispers from the subconscious rooted in deep psychology and primal instinct. If you've ever felt confused about what a woman really thinks or feels, this video will change everything. You're about to discover the unspoken truth, the raw emotional and psychological reality behind female body language. Watch closely, because once you see these signs, you'll never be able to unsee them. First, the eyes, the hidden diary of her soul. They say, eyes are the windows to the soul, but in truth, they are more like a diary of her unspoken thoughts. In psychology, eye contact is one of the most powerful and primal forms of communication. When a woman locks eyes with you, holding that gaze for 2 or 3 seconds longer than necessary, she's sending a message her words might never express. But it's not just about the stare. Pay attention to the glance and the retreat. A quick look away can be as telling as prolonged eye contact. According to social psychologists, when a woman looks at you, then immediately glances downward while slightly smiling, it's a classic sign of romantic interest mixed with submission. It's subtle but powerful. The involuntary dilation of her pupils shows her brain is literally responding to you. Bright, slightly widened eyes, especially in a well-lit space, often signal emotional excitement or deep interest. Think back to that moment when your eyes met with a woman's and the world seemed to pause for a second. That wasn't an accident. That was her letting you in. If only you had been paying attention. Learn to read her eyes and you'll learn to read her soul. And that's just the beginning. Let's continue exploring more body language signals in the next part. Picking up where we left off with the powerful language of her eyes, let's dive deeper into another subtle but telling form of communication: touch. Her eyes may reveal truths her lips hesitate to voice, but her touch often speaks even louder. Whether it's intentional contact or a seemingly accidental brush, a touch can spark electricity or feel utterly empty. The key difference? Intention. And this is where many men miss the mark. They feel her hand graze theirs and dismiss it as coincidence. Yet, experts in body language understand that touch is rarely random. Psychologically, women are much more selective about who they let invade their personal space. When she initiates touch, even in the smallest ways like brushing lint off your shirt or tapping your arm lightly during a laugh, it often signals a deeper emotional comfort or an unspoken desire for connection. Here's a secret: the more subtle the touch, the more meaningful it truly is. An accidental bump might just be that, accidental, but a gentle feather-light stroke on your shoulder as she passes by, that's deliberate. In psychology, this falls under proxemic behavior, how close someone allows others into their personal space. Watch how she touches other people compared to you. If she's more physically affectionate with you, if her touch lingers even a fraction of a second longer, it's no accident. It's communication at its most primal. Touch is one of humanity's oldest languages, older than speech, older than writing. When she chooses to touch you, she's breaking down barriers. That simple gesture says, I trust you. I feel safe with you. Don't just feel it, truly understand it, because once you do, every move she makes becomes a message you'll never misread again. Now let's shift our attention to another revealing area: the legs and feet. They might just be where her true focus lies. You've probably heard that actions speak louder than words, but what if her feet spoke louder than her lips? In fact, they do. According to experts in nonverbal communication, the direction a woman's feet point during interaction often reveals where her real attention is focused. If she's facing you fully, with feet, knees, and hips aligned, she's mentally and emotionally engaged. But if her feet angle slightly away or toward the nearest exit, she's unconsciously signaling discomfort or disinterest. Even more intriguing is the way she crosses her legs. Psychologists interpret a woman crossing her legs toward you as a subconscious invitation, a sign of alignment or interest. Think of her legs as emotional boundaries. When they point in your direction, she's inviting you in without saying a single word. And then there's movement. Is she nervously bouncing her foot or twisting her ankle? These small actions often reflect an internal emotional state, be it nervous excitement, flirtation, or even arousal. Imagine the scene unfolding like a silent dance, where every subtle gesture is part of a story she's telling without uttering a single word. But we're just beginning to unlock these secrets. Up next, we'll explore more about her body language and how to truly tune into these hidden signals to deepen your connection. Continuing from the subtle yet revealing language of her legs and feet, let's now turn our attention to another hidden layer of communication: the voice and those small, almost unconscious gestures that speak volumes. While her face may smile politely, it's often her lower body that tells the real story. Feet and legs don't lie. They're less filtered, less rehearsed, and far more honest than the carefully practiced expressions on her face. If you learn to decode these silent messages, you'll hear what most men never do: the truth beneath the surface. Now, moving on to number 4. The voice behind the words, the tone, pitch, and pauses that reveal what she truly feels. Sometimes it's not what she says, but how she says it that matters most. The human voice is a deeply emotional instrument. For women, it often betrays the truths hidden behind those carefully chosen words. When a woman lowers her voice around you, speaks softer, or slows her pace, it's rarely accidental. Instead, it's a sign of trust, intimacy, and emotional comfort. Psychological studies show that people naturally adjust their tone to mirror the emotional closeness they feel with someone. So, when you notice her voice shifting subtly in your presence, know that it's not by chance, it's instinctual. Pay close attention to her pitch. A slightly higher tone often signals excitement or attraction, while a lower pitch can suggest calmness or seduction. And the pauses. Oh, those pauses. They are pure gold. If she takes a moment before responding, especially on vulnerable topics, it means she's weighing the emotional significance of her words carefully. Here's the fascinating twist. A woman's voice always changes around someone she feels emotionally connected to. Once you start really listening, not just to the words, but to her rhythm, her breath, and her hesitations, you'll uncover a hidden world of subtle truths you never noticed before. Listening with more than just your ears, but with full awareness, opens the door to understanding her on a deeper level. Number 5 brings us to the quiet yet powerful hair and neck rituals, gestures that signal vulnerability and attraction. There's something oddly captivating about a woman playing with her hair or revealing the soft curve of her neck. These are far from idle movements. They're deeply rooted psychological cues, hinting at trust, attraction, and subconscious seduction. When she tilts her head to expose her neck, brushes her hair aside, or lifts her chin, she's showing you one of her most vulnerable spots. From an evolutionary psychology standpoint, this gesture symbolizes trust and submission. The neck is delicate and unprotected, so when she bares it even briefly, it means she doesn't see you as a threat. She might even be inviting your presence. And then there's the classic hair twirl or stroke, often a self-soothing behavior when she feels nervous or excited, usually around someone she's attracted to. This motion draws your eyes, whether intentionally or not, and carries a subtle, almost hypnotic seduction. As we've seen, these small, seemingly casual signals are anything but random. They're part of a rich, silent language women use to communicate deeper feelings. Next, we'll explore more fascinating signs and what they reveal about her true emotions and intentions. Picking up where we left off, let's dive deeper into the subtle ways she prepares herself just for you. Unspoken signals that reveal so much more than words ever could. It's not just about the gestures, it's about control. When she adjusts her appearance in your presence, fixing her hair, smoothing her clothes, she's doing it subconsciously, almost instinctively, getting ready to be seen by you, to catch your attention. These small acts are her way of saying, I want you to notice me. The key to unlocking this secret language is awareness. Pay close attention to how she behaves around you compared to others. Does her fingers linger a little longer in her hair? Does she tilt her head subtly toward you more often? If so, you're far more than just background noise in her world. You've entered her psychological space, and that's powerful. Once you learn to read these signs, you don't just interpret body language, you read her desire, her unspoken emotions laid bare. Here's the conclusion, the final impact. Now you see what most men never will. Her words may sometimes deceive, but her body never lies. Her eyes, her hands, her feet, her voice all tell stories she may never say out loud. Think of each as a chapter in a book she holds close. The pages might not be handed to you, but they're always open if you know where to look. These 5 body language secrets aren't mere tricks. They are truths rooted deeply in psychology and ancient human instinct. When you truly understand them, you're not just decoding attraction. You're mastering awareness, building confidence, and sharpening emotional intelligence. Every high-value man knows that true strength doesn't come from dominance alone. It comes from understanding, from listening without ears, and from seeing without assumptions. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this video once and move on. Watch it again. Study these signs carefully. Then step out into the world and start seeing for the first time. If this message resonated with you, if you felt something shift inside, don't forget to subscribe, share this video with a friend, and drop a comment below. Tell me which sign you've noticed before but never fully understood, until now. Become the man who truly sees not just what's said, but what's deeply felt. And that, my friend, is true power. Next, we'll dive even deeper into more hidden signals that women reveal when they're truly interested. So stay tuned.